the three Equalizer movies are not equally as good. Denzel Washington's Now trilogy, The Equalizer, has audiences and us at ScreenRant happily surprised with the whole line of movies, as all three have wowed viewers 3 times over. But as amazing as these action-packed movies are, they all have different tones, characters, and performances that ultimately ends with only one truly shining above the others.
I promised someone that I love very much that I would never go back to being that person.
Although it's certainly not a bad film, The Equalizer 2 is easily the worst of the franchise. It doesn't have any of the momentum or excitement of the first movie. The narrative follows McCall's attempts to investigate the murder of his friends, ultimately finding the culprit and seeking revenge. There's no pressure or time limit that keeps the story moving, which means The Equalizer 2 really struggles with its momentum. It's the only sequel Denzel Washington ever made prior to The Equalizer 3, and unfortunately, it proves why he's been so hesitant in the past.
When you pray for rain, you gotta deal with the mud too.
Speaking of Equalizer 3, this movie definitely ramped up the stakes once again for another action-packed entry into the franchise. Now the story follows McCall several years into his new career, serving justice on behalf of the oppressed in southern Italy. However, he soon learns that his new friends are being controlled by the mafia and finds himself thrown headfirst into deadly battle with the local crime bosses. It's got the fast-paced energy of The Equalizer and the personal stakes of Equalizer 2, which makes it a really strong combination of both projects to come before it. It might actually be Washington's best performance in the entire franchise, but the material doesn't quite live up to expectations.
When you look at me, what do you see?
So it looks like no matter how hard they tried, neither of the Equalizer sequels managed to live up to the legacy of the original. It's not a perfect movie, but the impact that the Equalizer had within the action genre is undeniable. Having a simpler storyline pitting our hero against skilled killers on his own turf, awakening his retired skills, this movie is absolutely great. The Equalizer thrives in its simplicity. The story doesn't attempt any of the needless complexities that came in the sequels, but rather pits McCall against his enemies and just lets the action happen.
What do you see when you look at me?